You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hey everybody, it's Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, back once again. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jordan Lowe.
My name is Madison with two N's and a Y, but the Y isn't where you think it is.
Yeah, that's where I thought it was going to be, but...
It's all I heard.
I'm Seth. Welcome to the Talk Club.
Put down that wine glass, but if you're getting tipsy.
First rule of Talk Club is you don't fight about Talk Club.
We're already an hour into it, and they're just joining in.
We said all the good stuff already.
You should be a patron. Here, Cutting Room Floor Audio. It's pretty swell. It's where all the good stuff is. And now for the not so good stuff. Hey, my mom bought me a shirt this week.
Nice.
Right?
That's my anecdote. So try and think of a shirt, the last possible shirt on the earth you would imagine me wearing.
An eggplant.
Imagine.
With a star eyes emoji. I don't know. What?
So my mom, her favorite thing in the world is getting a bargain. All right? She loves yard sales. She loves Goodwill. If she can get a bargain on something, that makes her
Don't
week.
tell me. Don't. I still want to guess this.
Okay.
Gucci. I mean, it would be something like Rich or something, you know, where the last thing you want to advertise is like...
Go the other way. Go the other. You're hitting your head the wrong way. So he was at a yard sale, and I've literally had to sit her down in the last couple of years. And I've said, Mom, please don't buy me anything else. Because if she can't find something she wants,
don't buy me anything else ever.
Like, if she can't find something she wants, she'll buy it for something. You know, it's cheap. I don't need one, but maybe somebody else will. So as long as it's a bargain, that's the only excuse she needs.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, she'll figure out where it goes later. But I said, I don't need any more clothes. My drawers are full of clothes. I don't need any more books. I've got a pile of books to read. Like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm need to Marie Kondo this place.
Yeah. What else is there at yard sales?
Yeah. So she found these shirts, and she's like, I took all 3 shirts up, and I got them all for $1 at a yard sale. One had a Marvel Comics logo on it. Hey, awesome. That's nice. One was a Cincinnati Reds polo shirt. Sweet. And then the third one was something else.
My Pretty Pony.
No. Actually, I found a picture. I Googled and found a picture of it. So I can share my screen.
It must be a popular shirt.
Oh, man. Are we even getting close? I haven't heard any hots or colds.
No.
Opera. Oh.
It was one of those hoodies that's made to be like 3 times too big for you, with a full-size face from head to toe to chest to waist of Pennywise the Clown from the most recent It movie. Just zoomed in as far as you can go. In that it's that really thin, like shiny material.
Oh, nice. So
it's
and not comfy.
Yeah, it's like real thin, so it wouldn't be
like
warm.
Wearing wrapping paper,
right? It wouldn't be warm in the least. And she's like, I was like, I can't wear that and would never wear that.
Who would? I mean, how did that even get to the yard sale? Who wouldn't want that?
I wonder how much she paid for it.
33 cents.
They just
I would feel bad throwing that in the garbage. Though.
Yeah. They were just like, take it. I know you want these other 2 shirts. Please take this other one.
Please, this has been killing all the children in the neighborhood.
So I'm holding it up, looking at it, just being like, And she said something about the back, and I flip it over, exact same image on the back.
Oh my god!
So coming and going,
nice.
You've got Pennywise staring down at you.
That is awful.
And we hemmed and hawed, and I tried not to, be insulting, but we talked about it for a few minutes. She's like, "That's fine. Maybe one of the kids will wear it."
Oh,
and I was
maybe
like,
all of the kids.
I said something. I was like, "Well, that's from It. That's the Stephen King." I thought that was the Joker.
Oh
I said,
God.
well, I wouldn't wear a Joker shirt like that either, but at least that makes a little more.
Yeah, at least maybe you know me a little.
You should have stopped at the Stephen King and be like, who's a Stephen King fan?
That might be under the Christmas tree here.
Oh,
man.
You probably got 3 for $1.
But she's like, I guess his nose is red. Joker doesn't have a red nose.
Wow. You should also wrap that up and give it to him for Christmas.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
That would be. I would love that.
Wow.
Mail that right up I-77 all the way to the lake.
So I got 2 new shirts that are all right, but one, I got 2 out of 3 is a pretty good ratio.
According to Meatloaf.
Nice.
So, well, there's all kinds of stuff going on this weekend, guys, but right now it's the Mecca for us Disney fans, Disney adults, whatever you want to call us. Over in Anaheim. Whatever.
What do they call you behind your back?
I've heard that Disney adult term thrown around quite a bit lately, and I'm not sure if that's really an insult, like it's meant to be, but
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that was all started by a mouse. This is where the early planning is taking place for our so-called Disney World project.
Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way.
As you can see on this map, we have a perfect location in Florida. Hello, I'm Michael Eisner. We call it Epcot. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
We know what we hope to accomplish. And believe me, it's the most exciting and challenging assignment we've ever tackled at Walt Disney Productions.
Fun imagination, huh?
Anyways, Anaheim, California, D23 is happening just this weekend, and we had some announcements already last night, some in the media preview, and this morning and today, and I jotted a few down just to talk about real quick, just kind of bullet point it. But my favorite thing is Bob Chapek actually got booed on stage, so that was pretty great. They cuts the mics off and the feed and everything.
They were saying Bob.
That's exactly right. So Bob and a few other choice words. But yeah, first thing I saw, guys, D23 was something we knew was coming. Was announced previously and with the Epcot overhaul, but it's that Dreamer's Point statue of Walt himself is coming to Epcot, and they have the actual statue there at D23 that you can just walk up to and get your picture taken with. And
sit on his lap.
Yeah, it's
This is the one where he's on the can?
This is the Squatty Walt. Yep, Squatty Walt. Looks like he's
It's where I do my best dreaming.
Yeah, he looks like he's indisposed. But the likeness.
That is so. How did it go? How did it make it through everybody? No one said, "Hey, wait a minute, that angle's off."
Well, I tell you, in the concept art, it looks great. I mean, like,
it's close to being great.
Yeah, it's just
it's off.
I think when it actually come to making the thing and putting it into a convention center in a different setting, everybody kind of went, "Oh, yeah." Like,
I mean, it is that is instantly the thing that I dare anyone to not think that immediately when you see that.
Yeah,
it's just like he is.
It's so weird because more Walt in the parks to me is always
dropping a D23.
It's always a good idea, and I loved when they announced this, and always gonna they're gonna put it right behind this new area, right behind Spaceship Earth and Epcot. So Walt
was this something you were talking about years ago?
Yeah. And I mean, the statue looks like I said, it looks like the concept art, except in person, it just that's what you see. Like, why is Walt on the can?
They should really put that in your favorite bathroom.
I was just gonna say that's where
right, that would be amazing.
On the
you
back,
go in there to that bathroom, open up one of the stalls, and there he sits.
I would really feel like that was just for me.
Yeah,
like
he's in there on the payphone,
right? Yeah, right back there in the back of the Imagination Pavilion.
Yeah, most people scroll through Instagram on the toilet.
Right.
Yeah.
Walt's doing business on the payphone.
So yeah, so we the real statue, it's done, it's there. We just have to put it in Epcot apparently, but
have to, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've spent the money. So it's not like Bob's really one to once he's spent the money not to do something with it, no matter how bad it is. So anyway, Squatty Walt coming to Epcot at the new Dreamers Point. And they also announced a new Avengers attraction for DCA over at Disneyland Resort in the Avengers campus. Going to be some kind of multiverse attraction where you go to battle with your favorite heroes by your side is the concept. Don't know much more than that.
Cliff's using the lingo here for you noobs. DCA is Disney California Adventure.
Sorry, yes. Disney's California Adventure over in Anaheim. That resort there, right across the Esplanade from Disneyland. And then the
Y in Esplanade is not where you think it is.
So in case you don't know, Disney's California Resort was built on the site of the original Disneyland parking lot, because that was the only property they had right there. So they also built, now when you park in a big parking garage there on property. And the parks they sit, facing each other basically in that area. In between that's the Esplanade. So
that was a good explanation.
Thank you. The Splash Mountain remodel, we got a new model unveiled of the concept. Before, we just had concept art. It's going to be called Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's reworking, getting rid of the unfortunate
racism.
Oh, yes, all that stuff is going to go
Mr.
away.
Toad's Wild Ride.
No, this is where Splash Mountain was or is, and the Song of the South theming is going to go away, and they're going to make it all Tiana, Princess and the Frog themed. Pulling out the briars, going to change some of the trees, and there's a new water tower. And
doesn't Ron DeSantis have a law against changing history like that?
I'm sure he will. And we don't know much about the inside part of the attraction quite yet, except I think they said it's going to have they are going to do animatronics, not screens, just like it is today. And they are going to introduce, I think, 16 characters from the film into the ride. So pretty excited about that. That was my favorite ride for a long time. and certainly one we've ridden many times over the years. Always a family favorite. And then there's some movie news out there. The Haunted Mansion movie that's coming out. They introduced Jamie Lee Curtis today. She came out in a Doom buggy, which is the omnimover ride vehicle for the Haunted Mansion. It's called a Doom buggy. She's going to play Madame Leota. They also announced Winona Ryder and Dan Levy are going to be part of the cast on that movie. A new Mufasa, the Lion King live action. Apparently it's going to be a sequel to that Lion King adaptation they did a couple years or so ago with the computer generated animation. So another sequel, Inside Out 2, was announced. So that I'm pretty excited about that. Inside Out is so it's still a very popular Pixar movie, all about emotions, and this one's going to apparently feature a story about Riley as a teenager. So I'm sure everybody will be back for that. Peter and Wendy, that's a new project. Apparently, that's going to come out, I think, next year. New movie. We got a trailer for the new live-action Little Mermaid, which I watched today. It was fine. I'm not the biggest fan of these live action movies. They're kind of hit and miss. This looked very faithful to the original 1989 animated film. We also got from the parks, it's been under construction for a long time in Epcot, but the Moana Journey of Water attraction that's coming to that kind of center section of what was Future World, right behind Spaceship Earth. That is apparently going to have a 16-foot tall statue as part of the attraction of Tafiti from Moana. So we got a model of that, and kind of to scale, showing how big it's going to be compared to the average person. And it looks, the concept is it looks like she's just out of the movie, the big green plant lady that she puts the heart in. So, so that's coming.
You say so.
Yeah, believe me, it's there. And then we got some discounts announced because it was also Disney Plus Day just the other day, which includes you could sign up for 1 month of Disney Plus for $1.99. There was some discounts for Disney Cruise Line and some Christmas time discounts for Walt Disney World Resort that you could get up to 20% off rooms. And then I think there's a National Geographic tie-in there or discount something with that too. So
what'd you buy? Where are you going to?
Where am I going to?
They got all these discounts. What'd you sign up for?
Well, here's the deal. I have a trip planned for November. The discount was from December 11th. Yeah. So I did go on the website and just to compare, and turns out because it's a busy Christmas season, even with the discount, looked at the same amount of stays at the resort we're staying at, and it would be about $300 more. So I'm still getting a better deal than with had I gone a month later with the discount. Then we got some news about the Disney Company's 100-year anniversary. It's going to start on January the 1st at the Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve celebration. So I'm sure that'll probably be a whole year to 18-month celebration there.
How long has Dick Clark been dead?
A while.
And he's still rocking on New Year's Eve.
His trademark is. So I don't know about him. He might be rolling over in his grave. Also, we have officially our live action Ezra Bridger actor casting that's going to be on the Ahsoka Disney Plus show.
Huh.
His name is Iman Esfandi. And let me see if I can pull a picture up for you guys real quick here. He looks like Ezra Bridger.
It looks like an older Ezra Bridger.
That he does. So we got that news. And that's, for the most part, that's what I was interested in. I'm sure we'll get more announcements for the rest of the weekend. There was some other, some park news for parks in not in this country, so that's out there, but I don't think any of our listeners probably really cares too much about that.
Yeah, there's got to be some Marvel news dropping, but
I'm sure it's coming. Did
you check out that new Pinocchio on Disney Plus Day?
Not yet. I'm definitely going to watch it just because I think the look, the animation, Tom Hanks's Geppetto looks really good. But like we mentioned an episode or two ago, Pinocchio is a dark and strange movie.
I gotta tell you, I remember we were laughing about that, of movies that scared us as kids, and I said Pinocchio, and you put an audio clip in there of the kid being turned into a donkey.
Yeah. And
I, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. Like, that, whoever that was, his performance was terrible.
It's crazy.
I can see it being played as, oh no, I'm a donkey. But he had, bone chilly, like it was horrifying.
When that kid
just
is
the
screaming,
audio of it. So I can't imagine sitting in a theater as a 5-year-old
back then, and that kid.
I thought I was watching this past weekend. But it was at Elvis.
Oh God. Mama, help me, Mama, turn it off. That's what was going on at my house. We tried to watch that movie. So, yes. So D23, stay tuned. Maybe we'll have some more really good stuff coming out of that. I hope so.
Fantastic.
Fantasmic's coming back. It's been it's been like 2.5 years now. Waiting on it. Waiting on this new version. When I get there, it better be open.
What now?
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams.
Islands in the streams, that is what we are.
Cross the streams.
All my cheap movie channels are winding down. This is my last week of Showtime and Paramount Plus.
That sounds like an old Hank Williams Jr. song.
Don't encourage me to write a song between now and the end of it.
All my cheap movie channels are winding down.
That's Hank Williams, the fifth. That's the future Hank Williams, whose biggest problem isn't cheating women. It's just too many streaming options.
Yeah. They're gonna take my Showtime away.
So I watched. I told you all the stuff I watched on Paramount a couple episodes ago. I watched the Turtle Power. It was a documentary about the origins of the Ninja Turtles. I thought it was newer, but it was filmed in 2014, so there wasn't a whole lot of current information. But a ton of footage of home movies and stuff for them back in the 80s, and very young guys, and it was interesting. I was watching on Paramount Detroiters. I watched the series, the 2 seasons, that Tim Robinson and Sam Richardson sitcom that was on Comedy Central. Very, very funny. And then I watched The Offer on Paramount, which was the series Seth had mentioned about the creation of The Godfather. I loved this show. It was excellent.
They were so likable. Those two, him and what's her name? Dang, why can't I remember her name?
Juno Temple.
Yes, playing Betty or whoever she was. I don't know, but they were. His voice sounded so different than any other thing I've seen him in. Like,
yeah, it was.
It's really deep.
Every movie I've seen Miles Teller in, I think of him as a kid. This was like he was an adult.
Absolutely, he was. It was not. He was not a kid in this, and of course, that came. We just talked about this the other day. What's the guy's name?
Matthew Good.
Yes.
Who was Ozymandias in Watchmen.
Yeah.
Playing Robert Evans, super movie producer, the very tan guy, always has a cigarette and a scotch. I'm going to tell you, kid, you've got a future in this business. Like, this was one of my favorite performances I've seen this year on TV. He was amazing. And I'm not even the biggest, like, I don't rewatch Godfather every year. Like, I've only seen it a couple times. It's not, I like it, but it's not
good movie, but it's not in my top 100.
So, yeah, it wasn't like, okay, so this show starts, the first line in the show is somebody says, leave the cannoli. I'm like, oh no, that's what this show's going to be. A bunch of winks and references. And very quickly it was, there's a lot of that in there. There's shots they compose that look like scenes and they edit some stuff cleverly. But yeah, even if you're not a huge Godfather fan, this show is still fascinating about all the problems and, how movies were changing in the 70s. And it was a good, like, pep talk of, like, what the movies matter. The movies, that's, people go to the theater and look at that screen and share their dream. It was that good, like, positive spin on why movies are important.
I think the guy that played Marlon Brando was good, too. He did a good impression. Yeah. It was good. It was I really enjoyed it. I caught up on it when it was caught up about halfway through, and then look forward to it every week. I like that show.
So that was everything I watched from Paramount. Showtime, I watched more movies over there. They have like all the A24 movies. Showtime has a pretty good movie selection, but on the TV side of things, I went back and caught up the season I missed of Desus and Mero, which was like the late night talk show they did, which I love. And I just heard they're not doing anymore. They're going up. They're going their separate ways to work on separate projects. So I'm they got different priorities now. They're gonna one's gonna I don't know. But I was thinking that show is very, very funny.
Oh, I was thinking they've been around for a long time. They weren't doing a Showtime show. They were doing but they were doing their show forever. And they're very funny. Yeah.
They broke on social media real big on Twitter and stuff, and then YouTube, and they had a show on Vice Network, and then finally on Showtime. But I thought I would never go back and watch Stephen Colbert or Conan, even of like, I watched a show from a year ago where they're talking about the news. You missed it. Forget it. But I was still laughing at these jokes, about pop culture from 9-10 months ago. So that's how funny these guys are. I love them. I watched We Need to Talk About Cosby, the docuseries.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That was good. Again, not the easiest subject matter, but I think you mentioned this when you talked about Seth, of like, it wasn't all negative. It was like they talked about all the stuff he did, all the ground he broke, the opportunities he gave other actors, and like the charities he did. Like that's why this is so complicated, is because he was such a positive force, all the while being a horrible negative force behind the scenes.
Right.
It's crazy. And then last thing I watched on Showtime, Yellowjackets, the horror drama survival story about girls soccer team in the 90s crashed in the mountains and were stuck in the woods alone for like 19 months. So you get teenage versions of the story, and then you also get the adult version of them in modern day. Christina Ricci, Melanie Linsky, is that her name?
Yeah. Juliette Lewis.
I love this show too. I love that. I can't cancel these channels. These are
I love that show. If you went to high school in the 90s, you need to watch the show.
Yes. Every song in it, I was like, yeah, that song, yeah.
It's good. I can't wait for season 2.
But just good, creepy survival horror, but then also like the mystery of who got off, that lost island, like who got off the island, who's still around, what did they do to survive? Like they just fill in the pieces a little bit at a time, and I'm into it big time.
Yeah. Don't forget you watch Beavis and Butt-Head.
No, yeah, that's still on
Paramount. That I messaged you guys. It was the best episode of the season, or best show. I was trying to think what happened on those, but it was the one where they went to the mall and the guy had a kiosk showing virtual reality, and so they're like, "Let's go try that." This guy's playing a video game. It's like you're in it or whatever. They walk up, and of course, it's just like it's always the same formula. Just like when they went to the escape room and they went in the bathroom instead of the escape room and they tried to escape the bathroom. This is they pick up sunglasses off the sunglass tree and they're like, "Oh my gosh, everything looks so real. Let's go over here and punch this guy in the balls and see what happens." And the best thing is them trying to. They're like, "We need to start over or whatever." Well, you got to die to do that. It shows Beavis out into traffic. It's so good. Good.
I was that show that ended on like, we need to go kill some doctors. Like that show got in trouble for like killing frogs in the 90s. Yeah. Like talking about them trying to kill other human beings.
Oh, I loved when in the little bit in between where they were watching something. I can't remember, but it had firemen on it, and Beavis like, "Oh, yeah, fire hose. Guess what comes out of it, Butthead? Guess what comes out of a fire hose? Everyone knows what comes out of a fire hose. Not what you think it is. Not what you think it is. They should call them watermen. Never meet your heroes." Oh, so hilarious! I laughed my ass off. I mean, it's as good as it ever was. Oh, so good.
Beavis.
I heard they canceled Paper Girls.
Yeah, I heard
after
that
one
too.
season.
Yeah.
They were shopping it around, see if anyone wants to pick it up because Prime doesn't want it. Which I never actually watched it.
Oh, it's your fault.
So I blame me. Brian K. Vaughan's got a bad track record.
I don't get spending all this money on this stuff to just give it no shot.
Agree.
Now I'm worried that I bought way too many of the comics, anticipating the rush of people watching the show.
Yeah. I saw that new. I know you guys aren't big on trailers or DC all the time, but there was
that order. In that order.
Yeah, we got a new trailer for Black Adam, and I tell you, I don't know. I think it might actually be good. Like it looks interesting, and there seems to be an actual story there. You know, the anti-hero.
I will never see this movie. I've never been so sure of anything in my life.
I think it might actually be good. It's only there's only 2 movies being released by Warner Brothers for the rest of the year, and that's one of them. So
that's something. Yeah. Well, I hope it's good.
Well, that's a bummer because Paper Girls didn't really end. There's still a lot of story to go. So,
well, maybe someone will pick it up.
Yeah.
A lot of people liked it. They liked it better than Why the Last Man, so maybe there's a little higher hopes. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I watched a show on Apple TV Plus called Blackbird. I'd heard nobody was watching it apparently, but a couple people said it was good. It's just a 6-episode miniseries, basically about based on a true story, and kind of adapted by LaLanne. Is it Dennis LaLanne? Is that his name? That guy who did like Mystic River and stuff like that.
Jack LaLanne?
No. LaLanne. Anyway, I like that.
Mentioned
author.
Richard Simmons last episode.
Yeah.
Jack LaLanne this episode.
I'm gonna get my juicer out.
Yeah. That was wrong.
That'd be a great title for a movie. Juicer, the Jack LaLanne story.
Anyway, this has Taron Egerton, Paul Walter Hauser, Greg Kinnear, Ray Liotta, and it's good. It's not amazing, but I like this kind of show. It's like basically Taron Egerton plays this guy, who's doing some illegal stuff and goes to jail for it, but he kind of gets over sentenced, and the FBI tries to use him. They're like, yeah, we'll let you get out early if you go make friends with this guy on the inside of this really bad prison. We need to know where he buried the bodies, type thing. And Paul Walter Hauser plays the sicko, basically, that killed a bunch of people. And it is such an over-the-top performance, but it kind of works.
That's the guy. That's Stingray from Cobra Kai, right?
Yeah. Yes.
The guy from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was I was trying to think what the first thing was. Wasn't he in the I, Tonya thing? Was that his first
thing?
He
was Jeff Gillooly.
Yeah.
Or the Jeff Gillooly.
Yeah.
He'll always be Stingray to me.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. I was really into it. I loved the show. Ray Liotta was good. So he must have died during the filming of it or something, and or during the release of it anyway, when it was originally released. But I really liked it. So if you have Apple TV Plus, it's definitely worth checking out. Everybody's good in it, and it's a good true crime story. But
yeah, how do you guys feel about Taron Egerton? Do we like him?
There's nothing I've been like. I'd have to look and see. I never watched Rocket Man.
One Job Time.
Yeah,
let's just do a quick one right now. It's probably the best thing I've liked it, man.
I've seen Rocket Man several times, and I liked him in that. But the big, speaking of D23, the big thing we're waiting on is that Fantastic Four and X-Men casting news, one or the other. And everybody's been like, oh, he needs to be the new Wolverine and all this stuff. And
I don't like that.
Well, I tell you, here are the three names that have been heavily discussed: Taron Egerton, Daniel Radcliffe, and Keanu Reeves.
Of course.
Well, those are all stupid.
So
Keanu Reeves is too old.
Yeah, and
Daniel Radcliffe will be my best pick out of those, and he's just not big enough.
Yeah, that's why
he's the right height, but he's not big enough.
I mean, acting. Well, I mean, they could fix that if a freaking
yeah, sure.
Well, I'm just saying if
they got Walt sitting on a toilet, and
if they can make Brett Goldstein Hercules, then they could make him. Harry Potter could play Logan.
He would be my pick out of those three. I'll give you that much.
Yeah, acting wise, you think?
I would be so fine with not having some X-Men movies for a while.
Well, it's been a while. I feel like it's still going to be a while.
I do too.
Well, we got a whole couple phases here to get through.
Yeah. There have been. The thing with Disney, they're not very good at keeping...
But I don't know how long you guys plan on living.
I've seen more X-Men movies than a lifetime.
I watched.
I'm fine.
There's nothing I anticipate more than this one franchise. I watched a fan trailer today for it's just a super cut of Mission Impossible stuff, and I was just like, talk about hair standing up on your arms. I was just like, oh my gosh, I just have to live for the next two Mission Impossible movies. Please. That's all I care about.
You and Tom Cruise both have to make it.
Oh.
Yep.
I like the other day. Did you see the trailer? I'm sure it was all over the place. where he was standing out on the biplane or whatever. And he's like, see you at the movies. And they turn the plane sideways and he's just still standing on it and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, Tom and Nicole are divorced and they're out here giving it up for the movies. Like, he's on a plane, she's in there, freaking heartbreak feels good in a place like this before every movie. Like, they kept movies. They have joint custody of the movies.
It's not your fault, movies. We've just grown apart.
Right. Mom and dad still love you. And anyway,
I just wondered because there's.
Go ahead. Yeah, go on.
Well, I was just going to say.
I have no answer. I don't have like a.
No, I was just going to say I keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again. What D23 announcements? They're upcoming, and I'm like, and half the time, I would say more than half the time, they end up being pretty correct. Like, Disney doesn't always keep the best secrets, especially with these things, and as we get closer and closer, more things tend to leak out.
Things like Jason Segel.
Right. Things like Jason Segel being the thing.
Yeah,
I've also now I saw today it was like, oh, they're going to announce John Krasinski is going to be the permanent Reed Richards, and
I don't believe that.
Seth Rogen's going to play Ben Grimm, and I was just like, that's even worse. Like, I'd rather have Jason Segel.
I will say with all of these, I'm willing to be proven wrong. They've done it before. I was sitting there trying to think. I could think of an example, but I've heard castings before that I definitely poo-pooed, and then the person really brought it, and I was impressed. So they could pull it off, maybe.
Yeah, the whole cast of Freaks and Geeks be on the Fantastic Four. Right. Linda Cardellini is the Invisible Woman.
No, she's Mockingbird.
James Franco as Wyatt Wingfoot.
Oh my gosh.
I'm all about, James Franco should definitely be involved.
I don't know. Seth Rogen's got like a gravelly voice. If he tried to, if he did play it, his normal type.
I like that.
Like you said, anyone could do it. Yeah.
Better than Jason Segel.
I don't either. I don't like that better because he would do his laugh, that stupid laugh that he always does, and it just. I don't think it would work.
They could cut that out. They have editors. Every time he laughs, they'll cut that out, put something else in.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm still watching that Claim to Fame show I told you guys about. It ended this week. I haven't watched the finale yet, but this is a good show. This is a under the radar good show. Where the people game show where the people are just related to big stars, big celebrities, and they have to try to figure out and call out who the other people are to eliminate them from the game. And it's not like it's always by genetics. Like, these people kind of look, you could get it from seeing them sometimes because they're just a couple steps away, or like a nephew or a grandson or sister, brother. They are close enough relation. There's not something that where it's like by marriage is what I'm getting at. There's genetics involved, so it's a good and they've had, with the limited budget they've got a lot of the games or whatever challenges are more creative than half the Big Brother stuff. It's like I'm amused by it. So I hope they have a second season. I hope all these celebrities' relatives are getting on the horn, call them, say, I want to be on it next year. Because they had like some big relations this year. So it's worth checking out. And there's a couple people that are really good at it that have played their way to the end of the game. I'm curious to see who wins, or how having never had this show before, I don't know how it resolves itself, how you actually win it. I'm kind of curious, so it's pretty interesting. Anyway, I know I brought it up before. I watched a couple episodes of some show on Netflix called Untold. I assume it's popped up. One was the Manti Te'o thing, the girlfriend that didn't exist. He's like the original catfish. right? You know, and
I saw a lot of people talking about that.
It was good. It shows how the media really screwed him over and just didn't care what the real story was. It was like the story was the fake story was too good not to cover, make him look like he was in on everything. And there's no way you could watch this guy and think that he had anything to do with it.
And he was such a star in college.
He was the number one guy.
Yeah, and his career just tanked after that.
Get it all explained to you why. Like he really lays everything out there, talks about that, and a lot of it has to do with this whole controversy, is how it affected him and stuff. So it was really good. The other episode I watched was the Tim Donaghy NBA ref scandal, where he was, supposedly fixing games, and it was good too. So I may watch another episode or two of that if I find a subject that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I haven't watched a whole lot. I did mostly get caught up to this point on, we talked about Welcome to Wrexham, and I really like it, but it always leaves me wanting a longer episode. I feel like. That's
my thing. That's my only complaint about it, is because I've watched a lot of shows like this. It's thin.
Yeah.
I think they need to focus on the team way more.
I totally agree.
They're focused way too much on these two stars that only have everything we see of those guys is everything they're doing.
Yeah.
We're seeing the couple phone calls they have. And what I really want to see is the changes to the team, what's happening with all them. I want to, get to know, we have not gotten to know the team. And that is how you invest people into this.
Well, I think that's partly because when they came in, they kind of got rid of most of the team.
Yeah, but we needed to, and we saw some of that, but we needed to see more. These could be hour episodes where the other half hour is how it works, who plays what positions, get to know these guys even more, live with them more.
The managers,
we have these admin. Two stars. Yeah, we have these guys that they're really focused on the ownership, but it doesn't give you that feel good. It gives you, they're blowing a bunch of money.
Pretty much.
That's my
criticism. You worried about them losing on their investment? Like, I'm not invested
exactly
in their investment.
I like the people. I like seeing the townspeople who are so invested.
Well, this most recent one did a whole thing of like a guy battling cancer, and like his bucket list is for the team to be winners again, and like that kind of like
that's what I want.
So emotionally manipulative.
I want that exactly. Yeah. So I do like it though. Like even what we're getting is good, but it could be a little more.
Yeah.
But it was I don't know if you guys have watched the most recent one. They talk about the previous owner, who it just infuriated me. It was like, this guy bought the team back at the lowest point. Basically, like, this is really valuable property. It doesn't need a football team on it. We could flatten the stadium, and my investment would be tenfold. And like, there were protests. The whole city like came down on this guy. And it's like, how is that? But that's where it talked about the team. Like, when you saw at the very beginning, Rob and Ryan had to be approved by it's
why.
Owned by the people. That's why, because the people basically saved the team from this creep investor dude. But like, that's the point of it, isn't it? Like, sports teams are owned by the people, even if not monetarily. Like, how in the world could you buy one of the oldest teams in existence and destroy them to make a buck? How could you take the Browns and move them to Baltimore?
Ask Art Modell.
You have the legal, you have a contract, you got the money, but like, that's not yours. That existed before you were born. It'll exist way after you're dead. How is that? That shouldn't be allowed. I don't know. It's crazy. And it's to have a success story where it didn't happen is good, I guess, but I'm sure it's happened more than it hasn't happened.
Well, that's a weird subject, because like, I feel the way you do, especially since I've lived through that.
Oh yeah.
And
it blew everyone's mind around here that he could even do that.
Right. But every time like a major sports franchise moves to another city, I get those same feelings all over again. Like I feel so bad for that fan base. But then you look, historically, if you look at franchises and their histories, like it used to happen all the time, and way more frequently. We had teams moving all from city to city to city, and nobody, especially in the beginnings of these major, sports leagues, and it's like until they kind of, they would go from here to here to here until they did kind of have success and got more established, and then they were in that city for like 70 years after that. But originally, a lot of these places did move around, and I'm just like, I guess, being just a different world and not having that fan base established so much most of the time. But every time a team moves, I hate it.
And even that stuff, I'm a Reds fan. We live near, there's a lot of Pirates fans around here. Like these teams that have owners that spend 1/10 of the money their competitors do. Don't even try to put a competitive team on the field. They're like, well, we have to maximize revenue in order to do. It's like, I don't care about your revenue. Like, it's not fair to the people who supported this or to every other fan in baseball, even. Like, the Dodgers, spent $300 million. They have to play the Reds and they have to play the Yankees. Like, they're not even in the same ballpark. Forgive the pun. But, like, there are no rules. There's no rule. You can run a team however you want to.
Right.
And as long as you don't get run out of town on with pitchforks, like, I guess we all just put up with it. And it's just not, I don't know. This, to me, it's bigger than you. And if you don't have the money to do it, get out of the way and let somebody else do it. But sports, I don't know. Sports are just, like I said, they show it's about community and the city and history and family and pride and all this stuff. And it's like, it's to let one billionaire sit in his office and make all the decisions that affect thousands of other people, like
they're all be the law.
Communism, I guess, is what I'm advocating. Communism. Let's seize the means of production. Come on, comrades.
That's why he's a Reds fan.
I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but it just sucks. Sports are infuriating.
True.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and the twerk heard round the world. I've been watching a lot of the Disney shows I'll watch at 3 a.m.
Oh, really? You're that guy? Wow.
Just because
you're up.
Part of me is like, I don't want to be told what to think about it. I want to see them first before someone tells me what I should be angry about. So, like, I watched this one right when it premiered. They did their little dance. I'm like, all right, that's a little silly. And I went to bed innocent. When I woke up the next morning, you'd think they had twerked the world sideways. Fandom had lots of opinions.
Yeah.
They were horrified by the silly dancing.
Well, and in the was it the first episode when she learns how to do the Hulk clap? You better really watch out now.
Yeah, I saw that meme.
Yeah, I watched it. I didn't think, honest to God, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know there was a big controversy about it or anything until later on. I just was like, okay, I don't know what the big deal is.
I don't even remember I remember people being mad, and I was like, I had already watched it, and then people were mad, and I couldn't figure out why.
Yeah,
they were mad, and then when I was like, oh, that's what the why was not where I thought it was.
I'm not even sure if it's mad. It's just like, there he goes again, ruining Marvel or what. It's something about it was offensive to them, but not in a way that don't be a snowflake. That's not offensive, but it's just like, somehow that had jumped the shark. The show had already jumped the shark for Marvel as a whole entity, but something about that pinpointed exactly what was wrong with it in some way I still can't articulate.
This show is operating at a level that where you shouldn't take any. I mean, how anybody could get mad about anything on this show?
Right.
It's all at that level. It's all just whatever.
All right, so spoilers for She-Hulk 3 and 4. The episode 3 was about the shape-changing Asgardian lady. They were suing because she Megan the Stallion convinced that sexist lawyer dude they were working with that got him to spend money on her and all this stuff. So that's the B story anyway. It didn't really matter, but so she starts the show saying this isn't one of those cameo every week shows except for Wong and Bruce and so I like that beginning. She-Hulk has been revealed to the public, and they showed YouTube comments and tweets of they showed the online backlash, which I'm sure was filmed before this show ever, got that kind of backlash. So this show knew where it was headed, and the toxic fan base, I think it understood that ahead of time and was already trying to sand that down. So we got Wong, Sorcerer Supreme showed up. He's like, we're not erasing everyone's memories. He knew that was not a good idea. So the main thrust of the episode was the parole hearing for Emil Blonsky. So we had Tim Roth for a longer segment of time.
Yeah, I was a little surprised how much screen time he did get. Like, I thought it was just going to be a quick cameo to get people to watch, and that would be it.
It did. I saw Incredible Hulk is on sometime this weekend. I set the button to record it because I have not watched that movie since 2008. So maybe I'll have a fresh set of eyes because I remember not liking it at all when I saw that. But maybe something new will click with me this time around. So on our way home, we meet the Wrecking Crew.
If there was anything to be mad about, I was waiting for you to bring them up. Is we finally get the Wrecking Crew, and it's the weakest version I could think of.
Yeah, he says, "What did you rob an Asgardian construction worker?" And they're like, basically, yeah, we did.
But isn't that? I mean, I'm no Marvel guy, but isn't that who they are though? Like they're the ones that always get beat up at first.
But they don't. They X-Men them.
The way
they made them regular looking people, just two regular looking people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a gang of whoever's. It's like the Wrecking Crew had costumes and stuff. So don't quit trying to make them look real world.
Maybe we'll get there. Maybe this is just the origin story. Maybe. But during that fight, somebody tries to get a blood sample from Jen, and they say it doesn't work. He says the boss is going to be mad. So somewhere out there's a boss telling the Wrecking Crew what to do. We don't know who that might be just yet, but that's curious. That's basically it. And then we had the post-credit scene where the real Megan Thee Stallion was there, and they were twerking together, and it was, "I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion," which I think I read was like an ad lib because that Maslany is a huge fan of hers. Like, she basically, "I will kill for you." Which, whatever. Okay, that's a sitcom thing. Have a pop star show up on your sitcom.
Yeah.
Make a joke. Like, that's not offensive to me in any way. Whatever.
I thought it was great. I mean, throw as much crap as you can into these shows, as far as I'm concerned.
It's just a silly show.
Yeah.
All right. Then we get to episode 4, which I thought was good. I think that was might be my favorite one yet.
Mm-hmm.
We have Magician Donnie Blaze.
I hated that. I did not like this episode because that guy was so cringy, and it went on and on.
I did like his hype man. The old man with the top hat was pretty funny.
This guy's a stage magician that spent like a week training with Wong and the other trainees there on whatever that place is called.
Yeah.
Camertage or whatever it is. And he kept his ring that could open portals, and he was using that in a stage show, which was how we get to meet Madison. Which, speaking of cringe, like when she first showed up, I was like, all right, that's enough. But
much.
The longer she was there, I liked her.
She grew on you.
So we meet Wong. We get to see Wong at home binging The Sopranos.
Yeah, I'm sure they're like, if we're going to get Twitter outraged, let's go ahead and spoil The Sopranos. It's like, let's just do it all. We know we're going to get it. Let's just go all the way.
Well, that's what she says when Wong shows up. Wong will give the show Twitter armor for a week.
Yeah,
like, we know fans like Wong, so let's put Wong in it, and they'll leave us alone and stop it. So again, I feel like this show is ahead of the curve and knowing what the complaints will be and not caring. So I love that. Yeah. Like they know that certain people are going to hate certain things, and they're doing them anyway. And I'm more than okay. All right, so this episode was she joining a online dating service and swiping right and trying to find true love, and finding that Jen in human form is unappealing and unattractive and just gross and horrible. Who could ever find her attractive? So she has to be She-Hulk to get attention, which is such a TV thing. That's putting glasses on a supermodel and saying, "Well, what a nerd! I'd never date her, boo." Give me a break. Yeah, that scene was a little on the nose.
Yeah, but I mean, if you had your choice.
Yeah. So this week or last week, I don't remember which. It's been a
Gins are a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Somebody actually made a filter on TikTok that you can use to make yourself look like She-Hulk. And it's quite effective.
I bet it looks as good as what is on the show.
Yes. And many females are using that filter, and they're using it in various stages of testing it out, in nude.
Yeah.
And sending it to their, partners or boyfriends or husbands.
What's that rabbit hole link?
And it's become quite the popular thing in the last few days of this on social media.
I knew this show was bad news. It's bad influence on people.
So don't you two be sending me nudie pictures with a green filter. I don't want them.
So yeah, the dating scenes were a little obvious. There's the guy checking his phone and looking at other women and not listening, and that's a bad dude. And we have the perfect guy, and he's a feminist, and he pays for dinner and whatever, but he finds Jen unattractive and he's not into it. That's dating in your 30s, I guess. We have a demon attack. We have an action scene, kind of a fun, multiversal magic nonsense of her fighting these monsters. Then at the end, we reintroduce Titania. She is suing She-Hulk over the trademark of the name. So we're gonna reintroduce the villain and put it in a legal setting of some sort. That's fine. And then the tag, Madison won over Wong, and they're hanging out watching TV.
And talking about drinking.
Right.
Get some yak's milk and vodka. No, I thought that was clever though. That at the end, especially her as a lawyer, not thinking to trademark She-Hulk or her, image, and getting burned by that. So, yeah, I think it's been really good so far. It's just a lighthearted show that I don't have to think too hard about or worry about this or that so far. And yeah, heck yeah,
I like it fun.
So
except for the Wrecking Crew, I did not like what they did to Wrecking.
Yeah, I'd seen some criticism about that. But all the criticism I was reading was simply not so much about their look as much as like, oh, they should be tougher than that. You know, they're the wrecking crew. And then I saw some, you know, like I said, some arguments about, yeah, they kind of get beat up a lot. So
they do, but they should have been
formidable. Tougher. Yeah, they fight Thor.
They don't just they like fight more than one person a lot.
Well, I had a customer today give me a theory that I love that will make everyone madder than anything that's happened on this show so far combined.
Oh,
if it pays off. So I don't know if I want to say it because it's so good.
I
it's
like
so
it.
good. If it's real, I'll feel like bad for spoiling it.
Do it.
This is
It's just
inside
us.
nerdy, but you know, they've been teasing Daredevil, right?
Yep.
We know that. Yeah.
So he thinks
Cliff,
it's going to be.
Cliff spoiled us already.
He
don't give
he's
a
like,
shit.
he's like, I don't think it's Daredevil. He's like, I think it's D-Man. Knockoff Daredevil.
I hope.
I was like,
that would
that
be
is
amazing.
Genius.
I would love it.
If you know, you see the Daredevil costume show up, and everyone's like, "Yeah!" Like they cheered in Spider-Man.
This is D-Man.
And he turns around as D-Man.
Oh my
Fans
god!
will flip their lids, and I would love it.
That would be amazing.
This is like he would be like, you know, I need a lawyer.
Dustin Dumpy, isn't that his name? If I'm right, if I'm right, I'm proud of myself.
But the trailer show, like he's in like the yellow Daredevil suit, like. So this is like the knockoff, you know, use the knockoff suit as like a very Z-list hero. You can see him needing a lawyer or something, and like,
that would fall into the theming of the show, though.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say Jason Segel.
Dennis Dumpy. Sorry, it was Dennis Dumpy.
Okay.
See any relation to Phil?
He's got a little Phil in him.
So, yeah, that was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He was in Mark Greenwald's Cap Run. Good stuff.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us once again. I assume that's it for tonight.
Yeah.
So we will see you shortly. My name is Jordan Love.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast, @gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.